Nancy's books are on that long table back there. Please grab one because it's probably awesome. I'm sure it's awesome.
It is.
We also have a whole wall of poetry over here, wall of fiction if that's what you're into. And please hang out, eat snacks after the reading. Nancy Huang grew up in America and China. She is a winner of the 2016 Write Bloody Poetry Chapbook contest, an Andrew Julius Gutow Academy of American Poets Prize, a Regents Arts and Humanities Award finalist, a James F. Parker Award in Poetry, a 2015 YoungArts Finalist Prize, and was a winner of the Michigan Young Playwrights Festival.
She did all that.
Yeah.
What did she do? All of that.
Her writing has appeared or is forthcoming in Vinyl, Bodega Magazine, Track 4, Winter Tangerine Review, The Shade Journal, and others. This past summer, she was the youngest attendant of the Iowa Writers Workshop Summer Graduate Session. And on top of all of that, she is also a VONA alum. Nancy.
Guys, thank you so much for coming. Oh my god, I never anticipated that this many people would be here. And sorry, oh my god, this is gonna be a mess. This is not gonna be like a smooth performance. I've rehearsed this so many times, and I'm just gonna be like. Thank you so much for my former teammates for performing. I always hate following after them, but this one time I was like, I need them to be there. I need them to go before me and remind myself of like everything that we went through and created. And like, thank you so much for doing this. You know, and thank you everyone, like every editor and every like writing coach and every like person who's ever been for me while I was working on this and throughout my life. Like, thank you to all my theater friends. Like y'all came and represented. Thank you. Thank you to like all my journalism friends. Like this is just like a huge crowd. I'm so happy. Without further ado, this is my book called Favorite Daughter, and I'm gonna read some poems from there. All right. So, a little backstory about the first one. When I was in high school, my grandfather gave me these like you know those like stamps you see on like ancient Asian manuscript scripts. Like they're always red, they're always Chinese characters. They're typically a signature. And he gave me 2 sets of these like signature stamps for and one of them had my Chinese name, Huang, and the other was really interesting. It had Nanxi, which is a transliteration of my English name, Nancy. And I really wanted to write a poem about those 2 stamps, so I did. Right. Okay. Thank you for being here. Name stamp, a partial Chinese-English dictionary. Huang, adjective, yellow, the way sun filters through dust, the way a river flows through silt, commonly mispronounced as Huang by American teachers, white classmates, and immigration officers. A practice in symmetry, a body of water in China that calls my name back to me. Jie, adjective, clean, pure, a wave of white, the way my skin looked when I was born, chalk and paste. My mother said, look how Jie her skin is, look at it. Identifier, the way words can seep out of the imagination, can be born out of the body screaming. Nan, adverb, south, southern, liquid heat. Can apply to the smog mountains of Fuzhou, tilting up your head, realizing why China is called sky country. Back in Shanghai, the metropolis is melting outside, buildings steaming and sauteed, dripping with juice. The storm floods the streets and seeps under the doors. She, adverb, west, western, a fabrication, regimen, risk. In a dream, my grandparents told me never to come back, like China was a place instead of my body, my mother's, our throats raised in supplication, something forbidden in secret. Outside, the storm is implacable, torrential downpour and screaming winds with a calm, quiet center. Thank you. It's really, really validating, but like y'all don't have to clap every single time I read your poem. It's just like, thank you though, thank you. Okay, fine, do whatever you want, Kat. Fine. Kat gets to do what she wants. So the next poem YouTube. Sorry, I'm so bad at this. Huang is a poem I wrote about the first Chinese American immigrant, the first female Chinese immigrant to America. And it made me really sad when I learned about her story in my Asian American history class, because we don't know much about her. We just know that she was 19, she had foot binding done to her, and because it was a part of China's culture, and they displayed her like basically a circus, like display. It was just so sad hearing that. And I wrote a poem about it because that's how I deal with things. So I have a little Wikipedia entry in the beginning of the poem, so like as an explanation. Huang was the first female Chinese immigrant to the United States. In 1834, she was brought to New York City from her home of Guangzhou by Nathaniel and Frederick Carn, who exhibited her as the Chinese lady. They put her on display in a Chinese decorated diorama room, charging customers for entrance into the strange and foreign Middle Kingdom and to meet one of its inhabitants. This is how guilt works. Words become a desert landscape, like, I'm sorry no one knows your name. America put dirt in your mouth and kept it there. America would crack your mouth open to steal your jawbone, and I'm sorry I still don't know your name. America said, eat every bit of rice, be our curiosity, stuff your mouth wide with jewels. I'm trying to picture our shared country as one room, maps and birds and drawings, red silk sliding over the straw floor, jade carvings of waterfalls and mountains, the lanterns covered in characters that almost look familiar. I'm sorry the cage they built you looked so much like home. If there's anything this new land taught you, it was how to be selfish. I'm sorry this poem isn't longer. I'm sorry I can't stop seeing you in that box. I'm sorry that this is all I know about you. You are 19. You stole on stolen land with stolen feet. Someone put you in a box and you never left it, even when you did. I like to imagine you somewhere else, the box gone, you letting the sun cloak your shadow, the room of your whole history hidden away from the circus. You know, one day they might put me in there too. This next poem is actually right after that one, and for a significant reason. How many of you have seen Disney's Mulan?
Yes.
It's my favorite movie of all time. I'm glad that's not going to become a thing, okay? Mulan's my favorite Disney movie, in case no one knew that, which I'm sure everyone did. Mulan's my favorite movie, but I just felt bad because Huang, no one knows who she is, and Mulan is immortalized, and I just want to take these two Chinese women and kind of just put them side by side to, I don't know what I was trying to do. I think it was just to draw up this comparison chart or try to fulfill some guilt. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's very healing to be able to write this. So, The Ballad of Lily Magnolia. This is a poem from Hua Mulan's perspective. My ancestors are buried in our backyard. My mother says it is comforting to have them all in one place, but it is more of a burden to me. I am a girl with bones made for war, but my mother dreams only of a horizon future. She too has nails of steel and a skeleton wrought of iron. For us, honor is quiet, is obey, is thank you. Women eat their own tongues every day. We are left with full stomachs, empty mouths. Smoke rises from China's mountains, black like oil, dragon, want. It is a warning, clinging steel and red snow on the ground. My grandmother told me, Flower, this world will kill you unless you are ruthless. She said, your ancestors are woven in your clothes. She said, you are never alone, even when you are someone else. I do not look too hard at my father, and he does not look too hard at me. His old armor fits. This is his approval. Lily Magnolia, the earth screams. Flower, their graves say, keep close to us. This is your world now. Thank you. I don't know how we are on time, but I will read a few more.
Yes.
Whatever. Okay. Yeah. This poem is about being gay. They're all like, I got you. Yeah, this poem's about being gay and also being little in a way, because being a gay kid is hard, y'all. Okay, it's called Tooth Fairy. My skeleton is always grinning, even when I scream. White ridges stacked in an upturned curve, pearls strung up over a clavicle, teeth rotting, a science experiment. 7th grade, the table next to me had white pearls shrinking in cola. This was a message. Remember, your body will not forgive you for hunger, for warmth escaping. In China, there's a place called Wuxi, established in the Song dynasty. All the fish in the river come out sweet because of some long-forgotten legend. They sprinkle rock sugar in all their dishes until they are inedible to outsiders. And when people ask why, they say, our ancestors passed this down to us, this desire to drown in sucrose, this hunger for candy. My ancestors gave me a craving to dissolve in sugar. I've never had a cavity in my life, but the first girl I kissed had mint hair, bubblegum lips, fleshy eyes, wet, shrinking smile in cola, metal bracketing her mouth, barbed wire braces. I had a nightmare. Ma said, smile big, it'll catch a boy. Dentist said, perfect gums, but where are your teeth? All right, so my next one is called Catcalling Women Will Give Them Strong Skeletons. And it's pretty self-explanatory. I feel like. But if I wanted to be a monster, then here. I molded the steel that would become my new self, my favorite self. I look in the mirror and steal a suit. I look in the mirror and sew a dress. I look in the mirror and build a mask. These are all uncorrelated. These are all soft truths. Last semester, a girl on campus became citrus pulp, became seed. Body is fruit rind, body is trinket. In dreams, when someone asks me to smile, I turn around and grin at him, except my teeth have grown into fangs, and they are blood-soaked, and he is the one screaming. I'm told this is monstrous. Woman, sculpted flesh. I am ugliness refined, and everyone turns their head away. Body is pond dripping rare, gorged. This body is a forgetfulness. There's a day after tomorrow's tomorrow that I have forgotten about. When I walk to school, I am followed by birdsong cacophony, and some days I want my eyes to fall out of my head. I want my body to be a puddle with organs flipped inside out. I want my cunt to explode. Is it so bad that I don't want my body to be my body anymore? I'm walking down the street to another bird singing, don't look at me, don't look. I can feel when it happens, you know. I can feel it everywhere, even underneath my fucking fingernails. It makes bone crystallize. It tears open a skin crater, and I feel the acid rise. It will have its use someday, a glass grinding into wood, like when the sky chugs a storm, takes skeleton sips, a lightning echo. Thank you all for being here. I lived in Shanghai for 3 years. It's my favorite city. It's the only city in the world for me. Sorry, Austin. But I recently read this Chinese writer named Lin Yutang, and like he's very famous. In China, he writes in Chinese and English, and he wrote a poem called A Hymn to Shanghai. And I was like, how about I do the same thing? And so I literally have a poem after him with the same title of his poem. A Hymn to Shanghai after Lin Yutang. See, this is how you sing to the great terrible city. Bribe it with good fortune. Feed it a logic riddle. These are good things to give to certain locations. Do you believe in ghosts? No. I believe in being haunted. I wish you could be done with a place and have it not haunt you. I'm wishing for too much. Shanghai, which is upon the sea, which is fairy tale. I used to be afraid of how unknowable the sea was, its vast reach, its love for flesh, its hunger for deep. They always say in fairy tales you get 3 shots. I am American, strike 1. I am China native, strike 2. There, the ocean is flooding between the city streets, traffic gridlocked all over the city, gray sky. You know you're in China when blank. How a city can spill into a river, into the sea. If everyone here is a liar, how can I believe you when you tell me beggars, babes, and billionaires? How can you feel a place outside of your body? Isn't your body the end-all, be-all? Aren't the faces in the river your face too? Aren't you still in the river? Didn't you fall in once? You never made it out. Other people waded to shore. You stayed. They left and the city changed. You stayed. No one ever thanked you for staying there, for laying down, for keeping the river warm. Parallel to me, my sister loves New York. It's the only city in the world for her. Like there's no other city ever. And when we were younger, I remember she used to be obsessed with amethysts and like geode formations. You know, like a geode's like that huge rock that's super ugly on the outside, but then you cut it open and it's like, oh my god, it's so sparkly and it's purple and it's so beautiful. And like, ever since then, I've always associated her with the geode rock. And this poem is called Geode. If you sliced my sister open, you'd find New York there, carved on her rib bones, burnt crest and center among sparkling organs. She complained of lumps forming, gutted crystal growing under healthy skin until fizzling city, while the stars popped like bubbles in the air, pinprick and dotted, jewelry box soda, and the streets turned amethyst, and she became mineral for hair. How the world turned and we still forgot. Her insides allocated crystals, stone limbs, hard chest. Everyone said she had to be split in half to be beautiful. Yeah. My sister's been through shit. Like, the women in my family have been through shit. I feel like that's a relatable thing, too. My next poem is called Dear Monogamy. And it's optimistic, okay? Okay? You don't have to give me any side eye, Kat. Alright. Hey, I love you. Dear Monogamy, my favorite part of the birthday cake is licking icing off my finger. I remember when we first met, it was a little like swiping the rose off my cake, chugging a bowl of ice cream. Everything about you but wrapped in sugar. You're the reason I never eat chocolate. I remember once I wore gumdrops in my hair like a crown. I must have been very young. I don't normally remember stuff like this, candy folded into batter. I love that story about those two kids in the witch's gingerbread house. I always pictured it raining, sweet icicles melting down, soggy gingerbread foaming into bubbly brown lumps, rainbow sprinkle puddles, peppermint storm cloud. I'm not really that hungry anymore, but I'll have a second helping. You were always my second helping. I only liked your voice when I felt I could taste it. In your mouth, rain and sugar. Everything about you felt a little like guilt. Y'all are the best. Do you know how much time we have left? Anyone? Yes? Okay. That was a shrug. All right. Thank you. Okay, cool. I'm gonna read some stuff that I performed at Cupsy. Yes, Cupsy. Yeah, I have not I forgot all my memorization, and like the choreo is still there, so I'll try to do it. But we went to Chicago and we went to nationals, and it was really, really awesome. And I got to perform these two poems, and they have a very special place in my heart because I wrote them alongside these amazing people. Yes. All right. This first one's called Aperture, and it's about like they're so sick of this poem. They've heard it so many times.
I should listen to it on repeat.
Okay.
Read it 3 times right now.
No. It's about Asian American activism, though, and like the history of that, and how some of that history gets erased a lot because of assimilation. Aperture. In some lights, the color yellow can seem white. In photography, this is called white balance, color temperature. Have you ever tried to photograph the sun? The lens can flare into a sunburst star. The color yellow can melt into pale tile, white icicle, particle pixel. No wonder then. It's no wonder that the people in my community tell me not to make waves. Water, they say, will tear apart the blank sheets of paper we're trying to blend into. Sit down, little girl. Don't you know how lucky you are to be able to stand still, to be able to hide behind quiet, unobtrusive skin, to be able to practice blankness, to be able to ignore the fire outside your window. Don't join the flames. They will consume you. You will become a piece of film set on fire, cellulose nitrate that burns and burns. Close-up shot. White supremacy, keeping people like me down to their advantage. The model myth like a gift we unwrap with eager hands, placating to their benefit. Like Asians are the same as white people. Like Asians are the good minority. Like Asians are never oppressed anyway. Like all Asians are the same. Like Asia is just one country. Blank paper, white sheets. Snapshot, aperture. The space where light enters a camera. In roundtable discussions, I am skipped over, my name forgotten within seconds of it leaving my mouth. No wonder then that my white friends can erase my skin, scrub it clean until it is pale and cold like icicle, until I am more reflection than person. You're no different from us, reflected snapshot. You're just like us, monochrome spread. If I'm just like you, then that must mean that I've always been here, because I have always been here. Whited out from your movies, torn from your textbooks, the entire history of me seeped from your memory. Tell me about aperture, about yellow power, the opposite of white, balance, color, temperature. I want to know about how people like me never stayed off the streets, about how angry we are. Tell me how Yuri Kochiyama had nothing but this in her own two hands she used as a cradle. Tell me how Grace Lee Boggs wrote on charter schools in Chicago and youth programs in Detroit. Tell me how Anime Wong starred in movies that I have now been washed out of. Tell me how Maya Lin stacked stone and built monuments and tore open walls for memorials, and they still tell me to sit down. Blank paper, white sheets, cellulose nitrate, optical lens. Impossible though, because this history belongs to us. This is all you have, this in your own two hands. This is you capturing the sun in a frame. This is your welcome mat. This is your I have always been here. This is your evidence, the fact that you are real. If I am real, then to them I must be quiet, and that is worse than not existing. I'm very afraid of the ocean. Like, that is my number one phobia. I hate the ocean. Like, we don't know what's down there. No one knows what's down there. Like, what? We have so much technology. We have so much technology.
Picture of the peaks.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Why are you bringing this up? Like, no. Anyway, the ocean is so bad for me. Like, I just can't picture. I don't want to. Thanks a lot, Saul. Anyway, I'm kidding. I love you. So the word for the fear of the ocean is thalassophobia. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write a poem about this, because why not? Because I'm fucking terrified. And I need to deal with this one day, probably. So, this is it. Thalassophobia, meaning fear of the sea, derived from the Greeks, as if the city cared, glistening from its port, as if water ever stopped an empire. In Shanghai, our maid would cook us paigu with broccoli, steaming rice and golden fish, treasure soups, oil coating our tongues in a thick film. We had to be reminded, you see, of the past, where we came from. To the west, the ocean broke in a wave collapse. Can you picture the water creaking open, giving birth to the land, this city, upon the sea? I associate razors with Shanghai, little rituals to induct me back into personhood. The water fanning out, revealing a country now. Desert stretches and forest fires, dry dusks with sharp water, the sea foaming around the continent, sweeter foods, different accents spiraling above our heads. If you zoom way out now, you'll see the globe, a transitory thing, somewhere between boots and high heels, trees and skyscrapers, half shade, golden light, satellites circling everyone you will ever know. None. There's no such thing as a horizon. The sun doesn't move from its spot. That's a lie they told you when you were younger, that something was at the center of it all. You never needed to see the sky to breathe. The ocean can exist on its own. None. There's nothing above our heads except air, except empty, except everything we were made of, everything we came from. I had to be reminded, you see. Thank y'all so much. I have one more poem. This one is also one I brought to Cupsy, and it's also about being gay. And in Chinese, there's not really a word for what I am, which I thought was very strange, because Chinese is like fucking old, okay? Like, I think that's bad. Like, Chinese is a very old language, and I thought we had a word for everything, and when I found out we don't, and that this word was very important to, like, you know, an identifier of who I am, I was like, well, everything fails me, nothing lasts, we're all gonna die. So it's okay. I got over that eventually. But this poem was a big like helper for me to. This poem was a big help. Writing it like just got me over everything that was bothering me about this issue. And it's called Google Translate: How to Come Out of the Closet. My grandfather was the one who told me that women loving women is Lala. Lala for Lily, Lala for Pull, Lala for the print on my pillows. Boile for love, boile for women, boile for glass. Pinzi for vase, pinzi for bottle, pinzi for gay. We only have a handful of words for ourselves, a flimsy grasp on this language. I don't even know which ones are slurs. I try and fit Lily into my mouth, put the glass on my tongue, and shimmy it out of my jaw. It turns into sky, paper, bush. I try it again and it turns into tired. I'm not supposed to confuse tones, dialects, the same way I'm not supposed to say the word for the number 4. I bastardized this language. Yuelian for moon bright, Minyue for bright moon, Xiao for small, Xiao for smile. America has ruined my tongue for me. Meiguo for home. Jia for home, but Jia also for family. Jia is a word that is an oxymoron of itself, Lala. I say it without the accent and it becomes a song. Yeah, I still love men. Yeah, there's not a word in this 5,000-year-old language for what I am. Yeah, I don't think my Jia will love me if I tell. Yeah, I don't know what to say and you can't teach me. 我没有一个名字。结婚 for marriage and 离婚 for divorce, but yeah, I can't invent another word for love. You told me Chinese is so old that English cannot keep up. You told me there's a flower in China with no English word for it. You told me that we have a word for everything, that this language would never fail me. Lala, 但是我还喜欢男子. I repeat it until the river runs. Lily, but I still love men. Lily, but I still love. Lily, but I am. Thank you so much. There's still food left. Please eat everything. I brought a vegetable plate. Someone please eat those vegetables. Please.